Hey fam, it's the Better Man podcast. We are helping men win. Speaking of winning, I want to talk about our two partners, our two sponsors that help make this show go. One is Aroga Drive. When I'm looking for day in and day out energy to keep this motor going, Aroga Drive is the one. Check them out at arogadrive.com/Betterman. It's in the show notes. And then also our guys at Art of Homage, engaging culture in a winsome, and I'm going to tell you, a strong vibe. A strong vibe. You're going to check them out of Art of Homage, and we're actually going to give away some Art of Homage gear. Like the show, subscribe to the show. We've got hats, we've got t-shirts coming your way. And if you go to the Art of Homage website, link is in the notes, we've got a code for 15% off. Just put in Betterman15.
I had a guy ask me one time, what is the mark of a good man? And I told him, dude, the mark of a good man is a man who drives a minivan.
Fam, you've been listening to the Better Man podcast on Spotify. You've been listening on Apple Tunes, and now you get to see all of the wisdom and goodness live here on YouTube. This is our new setup. Thank the Breakfast Club. Thank who's the football guy, the kicker with the show on ESPN. What's his name?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Breakfast Club. Pat McFree. Yeah, I don't know him.
Pat McAfee. Well, we're a terrible man.
I listen to all the smoke. I'm just saying. 2 ex-NBA players.
Thank Breakfast Club. Thank Pat McAfee meets Jesus.
Let's go.
And Manhood and Wisdom.
Let's go.
That's right.
A lot of people have been listening to us on Spotify, on Apple Tunes. They're seeing this for the first time. So I'm so happy to have Delario Bolton, the National Launch Director at Betterman, Manny Fernandez, leader, president of WorldLink Ministries. He's also the face of Mejor Hombre. Shout out to all of our Spanish-speaking brothers. But this is the crew, man. Every week we're going to be doing this show. We're going to be talking all things kingdom, all things manhood, all things masculinity. We're going to have a guest every week. It's going to be good, speaking right at and into culture. What do you think about that?
As Chris mentioned earlier, I'm Delario Bolton. I'm the National Launch Director for Betterman. Really excited about this podcast, the opportunity to spend time with my brothers Manny and Chris. And so I'm looking forward to get to be myself. And get to share some insight on manhood, masculinity, and my world.
Come on.
There we go.
And you the second most handsome on this podcast behind Manny.
Hey, man. Manny, I'm going to let you have it. It's all you, baby.
All right, man. Well, I like Chris said as well, Manny Fernandez. I work as the president at WorldLink.
Come on.
I've been with WorldLink for about 15 years, but just in this role, just within this last year. And WorldLink, what we do is all about discipleship and evangelism. And so we go into different countries and we empower local leaders who are passionate about the gospel and want to reach their own people for Christ.
Come on.
And we give them free seminary training and we give them funding to be in full-time ministry.
Wow.
So we've got 1,700 church planters around the world that are going and reaching their people for Christ. And they're planting on an average 3 churches per individual. So you've got thousands of churches being planted around the world right now through the work of these men and women all over the world. And so it's an exciting ministry. I love being a part of it. I love this opportunity as well to be a part of Betterman Espanol. And for all those who speak Spanish, there's a lot of great stuff coming for you guys. So
Come on.
I'm excited about that as well. It was fun to prep those videos. And there's so many people, most people all throughout the world that we talk to are always begging for discipleship materials. So I was super excited when you reached out and said, hey, we want to help with you guys as well. We have so many people who are begging for awesome discipleship material. This is awesome discipleship material.
Yeah, and and I really think that's because the void that we're seeing in the manhood, masculinity space, man, it's just not a North American thing. Yep. You know, men cross-cultural, men across the world really are suffering from what we call a masculinity manhood fog, right? One of the things we say around the office is in the 1970s, it was, I don't need a man. Right. In the 1990s, it became, I don't want a man. And here we are in 2024, and the question is, what is a man? Yeah. I mean, we ask 100 men, and I don't care what language they speak. We ask 100 men, what does it mean to be a man, a good man, God's man? You're going to get 100 different answers. You know, we ask 100 pastors, what does it mean to be God's man? We typically get 50 different answers, and the other 50 won't answer at the fear of offending someone. Right. Right? Because it's almost offensive to say, man, this is what we believe. Yeah. We believe a man is. D, are you seeing that as we go, blow in, blow up, and blow out?
Yeah, yeah. Man, for me, it's super interesting that, you know, culture doesn't even give a definition. Yeah. Right. They don't provide anything.
Well, culture says there isn't. It's a social construct. Right. It's make believe.
Right. Right. But it's almost the way culture shaped is don't do what I say, do what I do. Mm-hmm. And so I think the way Betterman helps with that is we provide a very firm, biblical, solid definition of what it means to be God's man. Yeah. And so that's what's missing in today's culture is a definition. And I think Betterman, what we do is we provide a path. And then that definition, you guys have probably heard it before. And for the ones who are new to listening to the show, here it is. A better man or a real man, he courageously follows God's word. He loves, serves, protects God's woman. He betters God's world, and he excels at the work that God has given him. Those are the 4 W's. That's the foundation of what Better Man is based on.
Yeah, word, woman, work, world.
Right.
And what we've learned, and Manny, tell me if you've seen this, but I joke, Priscilla Shire is a friend of mine, and I joked, and I told her, Priscilla, you could write a book about woodland creatures, and 5 million women will read it.
Oh, they go to the bathroom together.
we can't even get 500 men in a room, and we're giving away Yeti coolers and Traegers and all kinds of stuff. Right. And Manny, what we're seeing is if a man doesn't know how to win, he won't play. Yeah, he just won't show up. Do you have you seen that? Have you experienced that?
Yeah, I think everybody wants to win, but not just men. But I think there is something inside of us that there's this fight instinct that we want to excel at what we do. And so I love that we provide a pathway to help people to win in these 4 different areas, which will impact the rest of your life. And so all across the world. I don't think that's something germane to the U.S. Right. Yeah. That is something everywhere we go. Every man really wants that. And so many that we see are failing at that.
That's right. And that's that difference between I believe there's no people say there's good men in the world and there's bad men in the world. Well, I disagree with that. I think there are good men in the world, and then I think there are men who want to be good men. They just don't know how.
Right. Yeah. Right.
They just don't know how. And when I think about like men's movements of the 80s and 90s, and I think about Promise Keepers, and I think about Point Man and Man in the Mirror and phenomenal organizations, right? The enemy then was kind of this I call it the passivity dragon, right? Everybody wanted to slay the passivity dragon, fight passivity, reject passivity. Well, here we are 30 years later, and the enemy, passivity is still there. Like that dragon is still there, but the real enemy today is ignorance. I mean, we had a whole generation of young men grow up, most of them without physical fathers, right? 41% of all young men today do not have a physical father. The majority of them did not have spiritual fathers. Yep. Right? Maybe you were like me, you had a physical father, but he spent most of his time emotionally, physically, spiritually detached, right? So they didn't have a guide. Right. There wasn't a path, right? And it's not that we don't want to be good men, we just don't know how.
Right, right.
We just don't know how.
And Chris, let me just say this. If If you ask any man if he wants to be better, his answer is going to be yes.
Right.
Every time, it don't matter how bad he is, doesn't matter how good he is. If you say, bro, would you like to be a better man? I've got a path. He's going to say yes.
That's right.
You can invite him to church. You can tell him you want to do some, deep theological study. He'll probably run away because he doesn't understand those things.
That's right.
But if you ask him if he wants to be a better man and you have an answer, you have a guide, you have a path for that, he's jumping in.
And if he says no, his girl next to him going to slap him and say yes.
Oh, yeah,
right.
you better get in that boat.
That's right. Well, I think that's just the reason we need to win is not so much about us as much as it is about our wives and our children.
Come on, man.
I mean, they need us to be
Right.
better. They need us to win.
Yeah.
And we've seen the devastating effects when we don't. But like any winner, it takes work. It takes hard work.
Yeah.
And it takes sacrifice to get there. You think about any athlete that got where they got. The only reason that they're a winner, the only reason we heard about them, is because they made a choice a long time ago that I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna win.
Right.
And I think they need us to do what we are called to do.
Yeah, they had, and I love that, man. They have a plan. Like to your point, anybody serious about their craft, anybody serious about their trade, anybody that's wanting to succeed, anybody that's wanting to win, like they just don't wake up
Yeah.
and just kind of grab it out of thin air.
Right.
Which I think a lot of men are trying to do with their manhood and masculinity.
Yeah.
Right. They're just trying to imagine it. No. They have a set plan that I'm going to take these steps and I'm going to do these things.
Yeah.
And when I do these things, I'm going to get these results. Right. And that's where, I mean, that's our favorite saying, D, you can't become what you can't define.
Right. Absolutely.
You've got to start with a definition.
Yeah.
You can't be a world-class athlete if you don't know what it means to be one.
Yeah.
You can't be a world-class husband if you don't know what it means to be one. You can't be a world-class father if you don't know what it means to be one. Like, you have to have a definition.
Yeah.
And that's where that scorecard, I love what you call it. You call it the cheat code. Right?
That's it. That's what it is.
Because video game manufacturers have figured this out. That's why it's open world. That's why it's always leveling up.
Right.
That's why it's always get the next achievement or get to the next
Right,
place,
right.
right? And men will spend 8, 10, 12 hours a day
Right.
locked in on that.
Yeah, back in the day for us, Super Mario Brothers, we played to slay the dragon and to win the princess.
Come on.
And that's it.
Princess Peach.
Hey, come on, man. But now I think it's Fortnite, one of the games that my kids like. I'm like, I don't even understand the point. You play and you play and you play and you play, and they constantly give you small wins along the way.
That's right.
And so with those small wins, men like small wins. So they keep playing. They keep playing.
That's it.
So yeah, you got it right. They figured it out. Now our job is to help you guys figure it out, and we've got an answer for you.
Yeah. That scorecard, man.
Yeah.
Courageously follow God's word. Love and protect God's woman. Excel at God's work. Better God's world. Through your church, community, your children. And to Manny's point, I think it was the strongest point today. It's not that we're winning for the sake of winning. We're
Right.
winning for the sake of everyone else, right? Because I do think culture is coming to a point. Somebody asked me the other day, Harp, how is it that Betterman is taking off?
Yeah.
Right? Because it is. I mean, we've got some serious traction and momentum. Well, some of that's timing because the world around us is looking around where it used to say the world needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. That was the leading feminist thought.
Yeah.
Even the feminists are looking around right now saying, maybe we took that too far. Maybe we actually do need men, right?
Yeah.
So now it's you see the pendulum almost moving back towards, okay, maybe men aren't the problem. Maybe it's good to have good men in society,
Right.
man, which is opening up some doors for us.
Yeah. I think I'm thinking through things as you're talking about this, and I'm thinking about in different contexts as well, and across the world, wherever we go, we see churches that I don't know what the percentages are, but the majority of the people I see when I look out into a congregation, it's mostly women.
Yeah.
Women and children.
That's right.
And I know that's something that here at Betterman we talk about a lot, as far as the churches are full of women and children. But it's a question that I've thought of more and more since getting involved with Betterman, and just wondering, man, what will change when the men start winning, and when we start doing what God has called us to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, there'll be more people in church, but I'm like, what else would change beyond that? if that, I mean, it's just mind-boggling to think about what this world will be like if we all start doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Come on.
Well, I mean, I would look at stats, right? All the stats all the bad stats that shouldn't be leading are men, right? Incarceration rates, drug addiction, depression, all those different things kind of lead when a man is absent.
Yeah.
I had a guy ask me one time, what is the mark of a good man? And I told him, dude, the mark of a good man is a man who drives a minivan. I was at the gas station.
I drive a minivan sometimes.
We've had 3 of them. I'm at the gas station, and I'm pumping gas, and this lady comes up. She says, I know you're a good man. I said, why? She said, you got all your kids in here, and you drive a minivan.
Because you're trying to beat up car. That's why.
So listen, you fellas, you get them 4 W's down, drive a minivan, take care of your kids, you on your way.
There you go. That's it, man.
Well, you got to beat them back with a stick.
You need to add the minivan to the definition as well.
Yeah, we need to turn it to a W.
No, that's real, man. But it is, dude, when men step into that inheritance and not just settle for a piece of the inheritance. When men step into that, things get better. The world gets better. Almost every societal ill that social services and the government and entire societies are trying to push back against and trying to fix, the common denominator is a man.
Right.
It's a man. I even think about, even in this political season right now where pro-life and pro-choice is going to be a big issue. I think it's something like 80 to almost 90% of women who are having an abortion would not have the abortion, they say would not have the abortion if the boyfriend, if the husband, if the paramour was involved.
Right.
Right. Again, and that's just an example. But I think about every societal ill. I think about every problem. I think about everything that holds us back as a people. And it goes back to your point, D, men not winning.
Yeah.
Men not winning in that category. So what I love about what we're doing here, what I love about the show, you're going to want to tune in every week. Why do you want to tune in every week? Because we are going to show you how to win. We're going to show you how to win at life, how to win in your marriage, how to win at work, right? How to win in the church. I mean, for you pastors and leaders that watch, man, what Manny said is not just accurate, but it's sad. You look into the Christian context today, and it has been dominated by women and children. Why? Because winning the church back to men is an uphill climb, and too often we bring a downhill effort. Right? So we've got to win the church back to men. We're going to talk about that, man. We need men not just leading in their homes. We need men leading in churches. We need men engaging culture, right? We're going to have some guests on talking about how to rightly win and engage culture. But at the end of the day, as a man, we're going to help you win. And we're not perfect.
No.
I've taken some L's.
Yeah, gonna take some more.
But
that ain't your last one.
But at the end of the day, I'm batting over 500, bro.
Yeah,
and that's where I want to be.
Yeah.
So if you could leave one encouragement to a man right now, as we kind of kick off this new show, this new direction, we're going to have it on audio, we're going to have it on video. If you could leave one encouragement to a man right now, Manny and D, what would you say, D?
Look, this is where I would start. Life isn't fair. Being a man is hard.
Come on.
Right? You've been called to love your wife like Christ loves the church, even unto death. And a lot of times I hear men talking, and they talk about the unfairness of what it means to be a man, what my call is, what my responsibility is. And I know that's difficult. It may be hard to hear, but it's what you've been called to. And some of you feel like this may be difficult because you haven't been equipped. And what we want to do is we want to equip you. We want to help you. And we want to prepare you to live as Christ has called you to live.
Come on.
Yeah, that's good, man. The thing that comes to mind is something you just said a second ago. I love Lord of the Rings. I don't know if that. I don't know. Whatever. I love
Hey,
Lord
I'm
of the
going to
Rings.
tell you, we didn't know who Pat McAfee was, but we know who the Lord of the Rings
Right.
are. Let's go, Aragon. We in there.
Frodo, the little Frodo dude.
Come
So-
on, bro. That's
so- so
disrespectful. Little
Yeah.
dude, bro.
I don't
That's
really-
disrespectful.
I don't really watch it.
in the I think I can't remember which movie, but there's a scene in there where Aragorn gets confronted by his father-in-law to be, and he pulls out the sword of the king, and he gives it to Aragorn, and he says, "It's become who you were meant to be, become who you were born to be."
Come on.
And it's always just stayed with me. I'm like, there's so many times in my life that I feel like the Lord is like, it's time for you to be who I made you to be.
Let's go.
Become who you're born. I think if I could say something to every man, I'm like, listen, I feel like God is right there holding that sword, putting it right into your chest and saying, become who you were born to be. And that's what my prayer is for all of us and for everybody watching as well.
Come on, Manny. Hey, watch the show. Become who you were born to be.
Let's go.
Hey, we'll see you next time.